Hi, so, It Follows is a 2014 cult classic horror film starring Makia Monroe. The movie follows a group of people escaping a slow but persistent creature that takes the form of the victim's loved ones. The film relies on suspense and jump scares to create an unsettling environment and invoke fear. Wildlife is a 2024 Minecraft SMP created by Grian. In the third episode, the main concept involves a group of people escaping slow but persistent creatures that take the form of the victim's friends. The episode relies on suspense and jump scares to create an unsettling environment and invoke fear. In this video, I'll be comparing them both and giving my 2 nickels on why I think Wildlife succeeds exactly where It Follows fails, and vice versa. Now, of course, this is a very goofy and nonsensical comparison, and with anything like this, there will be some major differences that must be mentioned before we get into it. Probably the most major difference is that It Follows is a movie, and Wildlife is a YouTube SMP. It Follows is a scripted and precisely crafted movie, and while the Life series folks do roleplay and do occasionally come up with minor plot beats in advance, it's much more comparable to a reality TV show of sorts than a fully planned out movie. Another major difference is that the It Follows curse is temporary, and it can be passed from person to person through making out, whereas the snail creatures are persistent throughout the episodes they appear in. The last major difference that I'd like to point out is that It Follows is a horror movie. This film takes on a much darker tone, and therefore is constantly attempting to invoke fear, as opposed to the Life series, which takes on a much lighter tone and focuses on having fun above all else. While this may seem cut and dry because of this, I genuinely do believe that the Wildlife snails are more effective in some ways, and I'll be giving my thoughts later on why I think It Follows is pretty bad, and why I would personally choose Wildlife any day from a critical perspective. But enough stalling, let's get to the real comparison. I'll be breaking down each individual aspect of the horror and giving it a score from 1 to 5 spooky face emojis, and at the end I'll be tallying up the scores to see which one wins overall. First up, we have suspense, and this one was pretty tricky. Wildlife suspense mostly comes from a viewer's perspective when the YouTuber we're watching hasn't seen their snail in a while, and has either forgotten about it or simply lost track of it. It Follows' suspense usually comes from when our main character, Forgettable McGee, has either just seen the character and doesn't know where it went, or if it's walking toward her and she hasn't seen it yet. And this is pretty suspenseful, but after a while it starts to get pretty old and repetitive and starts to lose a bit of suspense points. So I'll give Wildlife a 4 out of 5, and It Follows a 3 out of 5 spooky face emojis for suspense. The next factor we'll be looking at is creepiness, and
yours has a little yellow hairdo.
I know, he's cute, alright? He's got little red things on the tips and he's adorable and I hate his face.
yeah, this thing is cute as heck. 1 out of 5 for it and 3 out of 5 for the creature. Next up is the strength level, and we're getting dangerously close to power scaling here, so I'll keep this one as brief as possible. The It Follows creature is seemingly pretty powerful. It usually kills people in just a few seconds, but then again, we only see it kill 2 people in the entire movie, once at the beginning and once in the middle, and there is that time where it reaches its target and just starts playing with her hair. Yeah, I think this thing's pretty dumb, 2 out of 5. On the other hand, we have the Wildlife snail, and yeah, this thing's probably one of the most powerful creatures in fantasy. It's slow, sure, but look what happens the second he gets anywhere near something. The snail can also be affected by invisibility potions, and it's indestructible, whereas the creature is always visible to its target, and its immortality is left vague. So I'm gonna give the snail 5 out of 5 points for power. Next, we have a very interesting stat: downtime. In It Follows, the characters have quite a bit of downtime where they can be decently sure the creature's far enough away for them to be safe. Whereas in Wildlife, the small map and the fact that snails speed up the farther away you get makes downtime much rarer. Even in moments with the cast is just goofing around, there's still the looming threat of Snailmageddon. I'll give the snails a 5 out of 5 and the creature a 4 out of 5. Next up, we have general horror, and I think we have a clear winner here. It's the snails. Like I mentioned, Wildlife has a very limited geographical size, so this makes it so the target can almost never get far enough away, and it makes the episode very tense throughout. And I forgot to mention these things can frickin' fly? Yeah, these things are heckin' terrifying and kill over 25 people in one episode. This is another 5 out of 5 for the snails, and I'll give the creature a 4 out of 5 because it was still the first horror movie in a while to genuinely freak me out a bit. Now, you may have sensed a theme, and that is that the snails come out on top in nearly every regard. As I've mentioned before, I don't really like the movie It Follows. The characters are bland, the climax is underwhelming, and the metaphor for STDs is pretty flawed. And I love the Life series. I think every part of it is genius from an entertainment and game design point of view, so I may be biased, but I think this stat is correct, and the snails from Minecraft YouTube are more threatening than the villain from an indie horror film. What decisions in the past led me to creating this video? Anyway, for the final results, the creature from the movie finishes with 15 and the snails with 19 out of 25 possible points. In the grand scheme of things, this margin is very small. And even if the snails did come out on top, this video is mostly for the lols anyway. And if you thought the creature was scarier, that's personal taste. Anyway, have a good night, subscribe, and follow me on Letterboxd @LaNunDunDun. I'm trying to watch a new movie every day, so I'll have a lot of fun stuff on there soon.